is the intentional killing of women and girls, usually by men who are their intimate partners, relatives, or close acquaintances. If we want to talk about the prevalence of femicide in Nigeria, we have to talk about the fact that there's a lacuna in gathering of data of femicide cases, and that's why the DOHS Foundation stepped in to ensure that data is gathered on femicide in Nigeria. Our femicide observatory tracks femicide cases across the country, and in 2024 we recorded about 145 cases, 145 deaths rather, and in 2025 we have recorded about 27 cases of femicide so far, just January and February 2025, and that's a huge number. That shows that femicide is prevalent in Nigeria, and we need to urgently do something about it as well. Femicide is caused by misogyny, that is bias or discrimination against women, and because of the fact that there is no legislation on femicide in Nigeria, perpetrators get away with this, and they do it with impunity. And there's a whole lot behind the causes of cases of femicide, but if we begin to address, traditional and cultural practices that encourages violence against women and girls, we have done a lot to dismantle femicide. Like I said, in 2025, we are about 59 days into 2025, and we have recorded 27 cases. That is a lot. That is about 2.5. That means one woman is killed every 2.5 days. It is a lot. In January 2024, we recorded 5 cases of femicide that we tracked, but as of January 2025, we recorded about 17 cases. That means from January 2024 to January 2025, there's about a 240% increase in femicide cases. We are creating awareness on femicide so that people would know about the prevalence of this crime, and so that when people are aware of the crime of femicide, reporting is high, and also people can be able to hold the government accountable, especially for the protection of women and girls. And we are also creating awareness on femicide so that everyone knows the red flags of femicide, especially when you're in a relationship, when there is domestic violence, and then it begins to slip when there's domestic violence and there's non-fatal strangulation or presence of a weapon. You know that that person is already beginning to slip into, a potential femicide victim. So it's important for everybody to know what femicide is. The crime of femicide is usually a culmination of a history of abuse, either sexual abuse or domestic abuse, over time. Femicide is not often a one-time thing. It is the highest manifestation of gender-based violence. Especially law enforcement agencies need to document this crime such that if there's a history of abuse, they rule it as femicide and they investigate. And this is the way by which we could tackle femicide at the roots, and we begin to protect women and girls. The place of justice for femicide victims will help to send a response, send a message to potential perpetrators of femicide that it is not allowed, that femicide is not permissible, especially when there's the right justice, which may include a death sentence, a life imprisonment sentence, as it may be, when there's appropriate legislation on femicide, and a speedy trial such that families of the victim will not be put through unnecessary prolonged trauma. 2024, like we said, our femicide dashboard, we tracked and recorded a total number of 133 cases, but 145 deaths were recorded. This means that, when the case of femicide occurs, oftentimes, almost if a parent or a child is present, the child is also, becomes also a victim of this heinous crime. For us at the DOHS, what we have been doing is that we have been creating awareness of femicide. We have facilitated support system for women and girls who are potential victims of femicide, especially when we know about them in rural communities. We have investigated, we have instituted a research hub, DOHS Femicide Prevention Research Hub, that is bringing out strategies to prevent femicide, which include legal strategy, tech strategies. We are building an app that will help women to preserve evidence once any history of abuse is recorded, where they can also report, where we can facilitate safe shelter placement for them. Aside that, we are also, analyzing and predicting femicide cases in order to recommend, policies that would help to prevent this crime. That all hands must be on deck to end femicide. There needs to be a state of emergency declared on femicide. 27 women in 59 days is a whole lot. It should not be encouraged. We regard these deaths of women and girls as the failure of the state in protecting women, the failure of individuals in protecting women, and we must do all we can to ensure that femicide is prevented. We have submitted a proposed bill to the House of Assembly. Recently, we had some honorables. I think Honorable Faleke at the National Assembly, at the Federal House of Rep, was talking about homicide and femicide rates in the country, and talking about, maybe special courts. We support this. We support also that he looks at the femicide bill that we drafted and submitted before the House to ensure that femicide is prevented, to ensure that they take cognizance of the gender-related motive behind these killings of women. We also need to carry out research. The government needs to fund research on femicide in order to prepare for preventions. We need to do all we can as individuals. We need to be a support system for women and girls as well. Saturday, the International Women's Day, the 8th of March, we're going to be creating awareness on femicide in rural communities. We have questionnaires that is on our website that, we want people to fill to get, so that we can get insights on awareness about femicide in Nigeria. We want to also urge, individuals, the government, to support research on femicide, to fund our data tracking activities, and to collectively work to end femicide at large.